Hi, this is the third interview of God, Golden Glory, and today I'm here with Kevin Natividad. So, professional record, you're 9-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
With 3 knockouts and 1 submission, but also on your amateur record, you're 13-1, which is like both really impressive records. You've been on LFA and UFC, and you've got an upcoming LFA on October 25th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go support that. Yeah, let's get into it. So, how did you first get into like MMA and all that stuff?
MMA for me, it's to make a long story short. Hopefully, I can make this short. But growing up, I grew up in Hawaii, and there's so much fighting going on in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the best way to get any kind of respect as a person, at least for just growing up. So I got into fighting, and I always loved martial arts. So to summarize all of that, I got into this sport by fighting first with people just in school to get respect, and then eventually I found jiu-jitsu through the team Novinia in Hawaii, one of the representatives out there, Shiruto, one of his black belts. I met him because I would go to, trying to make this as short as possible.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
As much as you want to go into it. Go
Okay.
ahead.
My ex, she was a cheerleader. She, sometimes, I think once a week, they would have practice at their dad's house.
Okay.
Or at least her team captain or whatever, like their dad's house. And at his house, he had like he called it a dojo, but it was basically just matted out, and he had a cage in there, and he had like 3 different heavy bags, and it was in Pro City Industrial, and a lot of people would come over there from all over the island, just to go over there and train at this guy's house.
That's sick.
It's actually where I met Max Holloway.
Oh, nice.
I trained with him. He looked like Eminem at the time. He probably doesn't even remember this, but I think his dad or whatever called him Jerome. So I knew Max as Jerome, like growing up. And a couple of my friends that own a gym in California, Premier Striking, they were all training there. And one day this big dude, black belt in jiu-jitsu, shows up and he beats everybody up. And I would train with them every Wednesday. And me and my friends decided, you know what, let's sign up for a jiu-jitsu tournament, the state tournament in Hawaii. So we did that, and then I got beat up in the first round. But while I was doing that, this guy, Paul Anna, he saw me, recognized me, and he decided to coach me that day. And from there, he talked to my parents, because I think I was still in high school at the time.
Okay.
But he told me he wants to train me. So we both lived in Ever Beach, luckily, and he would take me to his gym. My senior year of high school, that's when I started training officially, like doing jiu-jitsu through him. And then I later fought that year. They told me I couldn't fight until I was 18. I was 17 in the beginning of that year. And
So you had to wait till the next calendar year? Or?
no, so I fought in April, or no, my birthday is in April, and then I fought in May.
Okay.
So I had my first fight in May, and I won by submission. And my amateur record is like all submissions if you look at it, like maybe one by TKO and the rest are decisions, but all submissions. That's actually how I got into sport, and I thank Paul Anno for that, because he changed my life for jiu-jitsu, like with jiu-jitsu.
That's awesome. So that's how you got into it. Looking back, like you've been a competitor for so long, what separates your mindset from when you like first started competing versus now and all that kind of stuff?
Well, before, it was a lot about just my own self-respect, right? If you look into sports, especially combat sports, it's filled with some of the most insecure people in the world, like ever. Like you'll see like kickboxers, especially like jiu-jitsu guys and wrestlers, like to make themselves feel better, they're like beating up other people. You know what I mean? And then there's you ever hear the blue belt mentality, like I can take on 99% of the population because I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Like, it's terrible. And like I should tell you, like I was like that. I think everyone that does jiu-jitsu or trains, you go through a phase like that, you know. Some people never get out of it. A lot of people get out of it right away.
Especially when you get your first promotion too. You're like,
Exactly.
oh, I've made it past this level.
I never took my blue belt off when I first got it. Like I was very insecure, and I went into my relationships and everything, you know, like people I was like, you know, women I was dating, and especially me growing up, I'm not a big guy, you know, I'm a small guy. I fight in literally the second smallest weight class for men, you know. So back then it was a lot of for that self-respect because of my insecurity. Now I do it not just for myself and like for my wife and everything leading up for our lives so we can live better financially, but especially since we're going into like religion, like I do a lot of it for Christ. Like it's different, you know. It's different for me. Like the mindset has changed because I'm not doing it for myself anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. If you had to, sorry, I can't read that upside down. Oh, if you had to describe your faith in one word, what would it be?
My faith in one word. I would say maybe not a word, but I think you had asked me about the tagline I had in my Instagram profile. Powered by faith. Maybe not exactly one word, but that
phrase kind of.
Powered by faith, because to me, it's a big thing for me. Powered by faith, like a lot of my faith, or a lot of what I do stems from that, especially in the sport.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like that a lot. Can you tell me a little bit about like your faith background growing up?
Okay. So this one is where it gets kind of deep, and I won't go super into detail, you know, because I don't want to like call anybody out. At least I don't know if this would be the right time to, you know, but there's a term that I know a lot of people go through called church hurt. You know, people get hurt by people of the church, and like I have been hurt by people of the church. I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
And growing up as a Catholic, especially as a Filipino Catholic in Hawaii, it kind of just means God loves you, don't ask questions. You know? But me, being me, I had so many questions. Like, why does he love me?
And Catholic theology in itself is like, there's so much, like, what about this? What about that? What this?
Yes, there's so much. And then you got to do your Hail Marys to repent, and there's so much that gets into it, you know? And like, it always made me feel like a bad person because I know that only I know my intent and God, you know?
Yeah.
So it made it really hard for me. And I had so many questions. And then when my ex at the time, she introduced me to another church. And they were actually the first ones to answer questions for me. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little weird because I've learned, growing up as a Catholic, we never used the Bible really, so I never really understood it. And then I go to a church like this, and they use the Bible for everything. The main difference was that I learned, and it took me a couple of years, that a lot of people, it's really easy to take what is written in the Bible out of context. You know, and they did that to me. You know, like, they told me that I can only be saved if I was part of this church. You know, like, literally, this one and only church, I can only be saved if I'm baptized and a member of that church.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going out. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
It's not even theologically correct.
No, it's not. They took so much out of context for me, and it really hurt me because what it did for my life and the people that just people in my family. And I think later down the line, I got to thank my buddy Steve in here, not Rosenberg, but my buddy Steve. I call him Filipino Steve. He calls himself Autistic Steve because he kind of is. But
Who
he,
in the sport isn't though?
I know, I think we all are in a way.
A little bit.
But he's been inviting me to go to church with him for probably over 2 years. I finally went with him, and that's where a lot of it kind of changed, you know, because I finally decided to go last year, and when we got there, it was almost as if God was trying to speak to me that day. Like, the main reason why I stopped going to the other church that I was going to was because of COVID, right? So we weren't allowed to go anywhere, so I stopped going. Like, with that church, you had to go to church twice a week, and they counted your attendance. And if you missed 2 days, they would go to your house. Like, I've had a lot of people tell me like, "Oh, were you in a cult?" And I was like, you know what, I might have been.
Yeah,
I
that's
might have been.
interesting.
It sounds very culty, you know. I still pray for those people because it's like a lot of them do mean well. It's just hard, you know, because again, you take the Bible out of context. It's so hard. But I go to this church with Steve, and the first thing we go over is the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verses 8 through 10. And everything I was told for the last few years, they told me that I can only be saved through that church. Literally, the first verse in Ephesians 2, verse 8, says that you are not saved through the works, but by grace, as a gift. That literally blew my mind, changed everything.
Yeah.
And then the pastor there, his name's Jason, he's amazing. He was talking, this is what it meant in the first century, the language that they spoke at the time, and all the context that I need, you know, like how you're supposed to interpret it from that time period. And then you find out that it's a gift from God through faith, you know. There's this guy, Johnny Chang. Have you heard of him? Johnny Chang?
He sounds familiar.
He's like an ex-gang member.
I might, okay, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
He had a great
Like
example.
tattoos everywhere.
Yes.
Yep.
He had a great example. He was talking about, this makes sense in a second, but he was like, he's, by default, he's Chinese, right? He cannot eat like lo mein and chow mein and everything to become more Chinese. He's just by default Chinese.
Yeah.
And I've told a lot of people I'm Filipino. You cannot eat chicken adobo to become more Filipino. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just Filipino. And I guess it works the same with sin. You know, I'm a sinner by default.
Yeah.
And by grace, let me actually just pull it up. By grace, I know I'm saved, right? And what is it? Sorry.
No, you're all good.
I know by grace I'm saved. That's cool. Not your own doing, it is a gift of God. It is a gift. It's not something you have to work for, it is a gift. You don't have to work for a gift, you know what I mean? For his workmanship created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand. Once you are saved, to me or at least how that was interpreted to me, is that because I am saved, now I go through a transformation in my heart.
Yeah.
And now I do those good works because I'm saved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm going to sin, but it's just different now, you know? And I wish a lot of people can experience this, you know? That's why I still pray for those people. I try, you know, I don't shove it in people's faces, but, you know, if I feel like it's the time to talk to them, I think God will speak through me and talk to these people.
And when they're at a place where they'll receive it and
I don't ever want to seem like I'm attacking anybody. And like that, you know, like by grace I've been saved through faith. That is the reason why the power by faith speaks to me so much. You know, I actually saw that on the shirt. There's a company called Whole Strength. Like, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, so this is not like some shameful plug or whatever. But I saw it on the shirt, and that stuck with me. Powered by faith, and powered by faith. Ephesians 2, chapter 8. And I think of that all the time. I'm powered by faith. You know.
yeah, I love
Does
that.
make sense?
It's a beautiful testimony right there.
Thank you.
So you obviously kind of went through and you got closer to your faith and kind of not rediscovered it. Were you already like training and doing stuff at that time?
Mm-hmm.
So like, how did it change for you when you were kind of, I don't want to say going through the motions, but like that kind of Catholic strict how to do things versus like becoming more faithful, if that makes sense? Did that change like your competition and stuff like that?
I think God, at least for me, like I always felt like God always knew my intention. I always, every time I won a fight, like I always proclaimed Him, and a lot of the times I didn't even mean to, it was just, it felt like right.
Mm-hmm. Like a natural inclination, kind of.
Mm-hmm. So I've always been that way, but it's different now, like because of why I'm doing it, and it might come out the same if you've never really talked to me about it before.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time in COVID, when we weren't allowed to go to church, and I left that other church, I actually stopped like a lot of things, like religiously. Like not that I lost faith or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pray anymore. This was like mostly throughout my UFC career, and I feel like I wasn't doing it. I went back to doing it for myself, because my reputation as a UFC athlete.
Yeah.
I feel like God put me through a lot, and I would never go back and change it because everything that I went with in the UFC, even getting fired from the UFC, it redirected back my faith to Christ, and I think that was literally the best result that could have came of any of it.
Yeah.
Like He literally all that happened to me brought me back to Christ, and it took a long time. Like, kind of wish that it happened during my UFC run, but it's okay.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, if that makes sense. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. And like before COVID, the church that my family went to for years burned down.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like, we can't go there, and so it was definitely, I get what you're saying, where it's like just, I never stopped believing, but it's like, what do I do? Like, that was my church. That's where I confirmed, I did all the things there, and it's gone.
That's crazy.
So I know what you're talking about a lot.
Yeah, that's a good way to relate. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh man.
Yeah, that was fun. When preparing for a competition, what role does faith play in that for you? Obviously, you have your fight coming up. Does that?
When preparing for competition, so kind of going back to what I was saying, everything I do is for, competition-wise is for Christ. Like I just want to proclaim Jesus' name. So, especially me being a Christian athlete, it doesn't mean I'm praying for favor in the victory or anything like that. Like, it's God's will.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not praying for anything like that. I'm just there, if anything, praying for the strength to endure, right, and get through everything. Because hard work is what gets me the win.
Yeah.
Hard work, this training, all of that is what gets me the win. Like, it's God's will, and if I can proclaim Him at the end of it, win, lose, or draw, I think that's everything to me. Like, preparing for it, like it's literally just that. Like, I get anxiety all the time leading up to sparring.
Mm-hmm.
I never ask God to take that away. If anything, I just ask Him for the strength to endure it. It actually just reminds me of, you're going back to taking things out of context. Everybody's like, Philippians 4:13, right? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yeah. If that were true, then I'd be flying to the gym. Like, literally, like, because of Christ who strengthens me, I can fly, get to the gym in 5 minutes instead of 13. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Yep.
Paul wrote Philippians, right? I think he wrote Ephesians also.
So. Probably, maybe.
I know Ephesians, he wrote that to the church in Ephesus. I think he wrote Philippians.
Yeah. Letter
Um,
of St. Paul.
He was in prison, I think. I think he was imprisoned, and he was going through a lot, and I think he learned in that he could be content in whatever situation he is, no matter if he was hungry or if he was, like sad, happy, or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he can get through all of that. He'll be content, and he knows he can get through all of that because of Christ who strengthens him. And I know I do that a lot. Like, whenever I go through, oh man, this round is difficult or whatever. I know a lot of people go through a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but no matter what we go through in here, like injuries, like it's hard, practice is hard or whatever, I can get through it because Christ has given me the strength to endure because I'm proclaiming Him.
Yeah, because you're doing it for Him. It makes it.
It's different now,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I don't. Anytime it gets hard, like I know I can turn to Him. That's how it is for me. As long as routine and preparing for competition.
I like that. And obviously MMA, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff, it's a really tough sport. So how do your beliefs like help with that pressure and stuff?
I think just knowing that it's done, hard work. I work as hard as I can, and kind of like I was saying, like there's the pressure of it all because I want to win, but my wants is not as big as what He wants, So just trusting in what He wants for us, like for me, like literally it's just His will. Well, if it doesn't go my way, I do get butthurt, but at the end of the day, I know He's got something better for me. Just like I was saying about the UFC and everything. It didn't go how I wanted it to, but it brought me back to Him, And I think that's more important than any UFC titles.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I just trust Him.
Has there been a moment where faith carried you through like injuries, doubt, losses, kind of stuff like that?
Always. It always has. Like everything that I went through in the UFC career is like a testament to that. Like I always believed in Him, and He eventually like pulled through. Like it's always better when I just rested upon Him.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times when things are happening, I'm kind of just like, I trust You. This sucks, but I trust that You're, I trust in what You're planning for me. I'll go through it. It's kind of how it is for me. Like, I don't pray for like. I guess it's just been my thing. Like I don't pray for like happiness. I pray for contentment and strength, and just to be content. Like there's happiness in that. When you pray for only happiness, there's so much loss.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel, because it kind of has to balance. At least I feel. So. Yeah.
And you put in the work too, so it's like being content, even with not even the outcome, but like what you put in, knowing that. Because I think there's so many people too who are like, oh, I'm gonna leave it in God's hands, and they do nothing for it, and it's like you can't do absolutely nothing and expect Him to just make all your dreams come true.
That's
so
that's such a good point. Yes, exactly. Like I know, and I'm gonna keep working the way that I know to be work.
Mm-hmm.
But I still trust in His plan.
Yeah.
I don't try to go out there and predict it. Like, I'm not like, where does He? Oh, He means go this way. Let's see. That way. Like, no, I don't do that. Just go with it. It's not as obvious sometimes. Sometimes it is, but
Yeah.
certain paths He puts me through, and I can tell. Like, I don't want to say it like right away, but man, I was injured a lot in this camp. Like, I got hurt a lot. Like, going through specific injuries that I don't want to say just yet, but
Yeah.
I think He was protecting me because like the injuries weren't that bad. Like, I've definitely been hurt worse, but this is probably the best I've ever felt. going into a fight.
Okay.
And it's just weird how that worked out, you know?
Like the injuries you got, you're not gonna do those mistakes again, or is that kind of what you're talking about?
No, like the way how a lot of us train is not necessarily smart. So there's room for a lot of injury, you know? And like because of specific injuries that I got, I had to train a little differently. And my cardio, I think, is better for this fight. My grappling is better for this fight. And it was all because I had to work around certain injuries, you know?
Yeah, so now you're better overall.
I'm better, way better overall. Like, I had to go through technique and everything. Like, honestly, it worked out better. And I'm just like, he's sneaky. He's sneaky.
Yeah.
Like, he made me think I was, you know, it worked out better.
Has there ever been a moment where faith carried you, or wait, I already said the one. When you win, how do you connect faith to that victory?
When I win, how do I connect faith? I mean, that's a hard one, you know, because I don't necessarily, again, it's his will, kind of like I said earlier, but I don't necessarily say he made me win over this guy, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when I win in the next few days, it's because he gave me the opportunity to speak his name. That'll be it. Like, I don't care what questions they have for me. Like, what was your game plan for this fight? Jesus. My plan is to go to church tomorrow morning. Like, that's literally it. We fight on Saturday. But I just know that, you know, he gave me the strength to work hard just so that I could proclaim his name again. Like, when I win, how do I proclaim his faith? I mean, it's basically just that, you know. And I just thank him for everything.
What about in losses? Do like your beliefs change the way you process losing?
No, not at all. Kind of like I said earlier, win, lose, or draw, you know. It's win, lose, or draw. It's all his will, you know. Just like my last fight with the UFC, I thought I won it. You know, like it hurt me a little bit, but I also wasn't going to church at the time. I lost that fight. I went through a lot of heartache, and it doesn't change anything for me religiously. I just know that all of those losses brought me closer back to him.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't necessarily change it. If anything, it strengthens.
Your
It
connection.
strengthened my faith, yeah. Because I know there's always better. You know, especially if I just listen to him.
Is there a story or a moment we haven't really touched on yet that best shows how religion and athletics intersect for you?
Honestly, the biggest thing was that, like, I didn't even know if I was gonna mention it. My church that I used to go to. So no, not really. Just that, you know. It's if you asked me that, I didn't even know if I was gonna speak on it, but something just told me this maybe was a good time.
Yeah.
You know, especially now. I've been not necessarily getting pressured into it, but talking about baptisms again. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, or how you think, but I've been baptized twice already. I was baptized as a child, or not even a child, like a literal baby. Like I couldn't even walk yet.
Yeah.
I was Catholic, so they just
I'm Catholic too, so I know that.
And then I was also baptized when I went to that other church. So thinking third time's gonna be a charm. I just don't know, like, cause I know that's not gonna change literally everything for me, but I feel like it's right. The right decision. Just because I feel like be my third time's a charm proclamation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like a good, because I think so many people, like, you know, like with Catholics, it's like you have baptism, but then you have confirmation.
Yeah.
So many people are like, oh, but it's infant baptism, but you later reconfirm it, so it's not the same.
Yes.
I feel like a third baptism would be like, this is the baptism version of like confirmation, like
Yes.
really solidifying.
Exactly. Man, I never finished confirmation when I was in school. Because I was going to confirmation. It was, my younger brother was still going when I stopped going, because that's when I started going
To the other church.
And the people there were just like, don't follow your brother. He's a bad example.
To
To my brother. Yeah. I'm like, why would you say that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
and they're just kind of influencing him, like trying to make him like feel a certain way toward me because I stopped going to church. And I'm like, oh, that's so messed up. But then I always got to remember that, like, I don't know if you've heard this before, but blaming God for the people is like going to a Beethoven symphony. You
Yep.
heard this? Yeah, and they're just butcher Beethoven's music.
Yeah.
It's like blaming Beethoven himself.
Yeah. It's like, it's art that wasn't done right, but
Yes, exactly. So it's okay. I still pray. You know, like, oh, it's such a weird thing. This, how the transformation I went through. I mean, I still, and again, I'm a fighter, so I get the urge all the time to just like want to hit somebody.
yep.
And I shouldn't be feeling that, you know, but
Or I
A
walk
lot
around
of
my
the
school and I'm like, I could choke you out. I could
oh
fight
my
you.
gosh, yes,
I'm like,
all the time. Like, someone cuts you off, just like, oh, you're lucky we're in this car. Like, oh my gosh. But, you know, like, through a lot of things I know I've changed, like, my heart, like, the way how I see people, and I just wish, you know, that people can experience how I feel.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's really different. Yeah, I don't have, like, other things, because honestly, that was the biggest one, you know? So, yeah.
Thank you so much. And I think I forgot to ask, there's like a question about routines or something that I did. Yeah. Are there rituals, routines, or prayers that you use before competing?
I do in the morning. So I was supposed to fight a couple times. It's been almost 3 years since I fought. So, and I've had so many fights like not work out.
Anyway, so prayers like day of and fight week. And
Yes, on fight week. Just because fight week for me is hard because I'm cutting the weight. Like, I'm actually way ahead of schedule now. I
Good.
only have
Okay.
16 pounds to lose. And yeah, like everyone's like 16 pounds. I'm
16.
Like, a lot of the times I start fight week with 16 pounds.
Okay.
So
you
I'm
got
literally,
like a week and a half more.
yeah, got so much time. Like, actually, I think I got less than 16. But losing 16 pounds is not easy, and I do pray for the strength to get through that, you know.
Oh, I'm in the sauna like, Our Father who art in heaven,
Oh my
like just
gosh, yeah.
to not think about it and
That's actually a good idea.
yeah.
Again, I grew up Catholic, so I know that whole thing.
Okay.
I know the whole thing, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm literally just in the sauna sometimes, like, oh god, just anything to not think about the weight cut and
It's terrible. But I get through it.
yeah.
I get through it.
You do all things through Christ.
All things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm gonna go fly somewhere now.
But thank you so much for sharing your story.
Of course. It's
Yeah.
honestly really cool. Like, I've never really had anyone ask me about it, and I didn't know I had so much to say about it, honestly. So
And I know you said you weren't going to talk about it, but I think there is so much like church hurt and all that stuff that this is a great source for people who have been through a similar thing. And so
that's the big thing. Is like, don't blame the church hurt on God. Like, you know, like, these people are just hurt. Everyone's a sinner. These people are all just hurt. You know.
and
Church
it's
hurt.
and it's weird because you want to defend it without coming off as like pushy, or it's like that's not God, but also I don't want to be too aggressive. That makes it worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. the reason why I try not to be pushy on people, you know, and
Yeah.
just be like, you know, like last thing I want to do is like start an argument
Yeah.
about like my faith because that just doesn't feel right. Like
And it might push them even further away.
exactly, that's how I feel, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many situations like that. Like, have you ever been to like a Comic-Con? Like,
Mm-mm.
I was at Anime Expo last year, and there was like a guy out there like just screaming Bible verses with a big sign and shaming all these like anime people, and I'm like,
What's that going to accomplish?
exactly. Like, if anything, you're gonna turn these people away even more.
Yeah.
Like,
You might come from actually good intentions, but that's not how it's going to come across. And
Mhm.
like,
it almost seems arrogant, like
Mhm.
almost as if you're like, stop doing this. I'm better than you because I do
Yes.
this. You know, it's like I wanted to go up to him and just be like, my brother in Christ,
stop it.
please, like this is not how to go about it. Like these people already feel a certain way about religion. You know, like yeah.
And
I know you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're right, so.
I feel like whenever you bring up saints, because you know, like you're Catholic, or you were Catholic, saints are just people who got into heaven, but so many people are like, these saints were these great people. It's like, yeah, but they're just confirmed in heaven. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that separates you from them. They put them like on this, you know what I'm saying?
I
They
do,
like
yeah.
take it out of context and make it this whole thing.
The out of context things what drives me crazy because that's literally what got me. That's the one thing I'm very passionate about. That's why I go into like the history of everything. You know,
Yeah.
like, that's the only reason why I know Paul wrote Ephesians and Philippians, at least those parts, you know. I'm still learning to this day. I don't know everything, but
Yeah.
still, you know, like context is so important.
Or I keep hearing things about the whole thing when Paul was writing in his letter, like, oh, women shouldn't talk in the church, like this whole thing. And he was like,
Yeah.
that's not, he was being ironic. Like, it's not actually saying these things. And
There's so much. That whole thing. That was the same thing to the women of Ephesus, right?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that one is bad. Like,
Yeah.
Because people are just like, is that the tolerant word of God? And do you know who Cliffy is?
yeah. Like the
He's
guy who
amazing.
goes and speaks on the campuses,
On
and
campuses?
stuff. Yeah.
The older gentleman.
Mhm.
So I actually saw him. I heard he was going to be in town. He was at ASU. I
Oh,
walked,
that's sick.
like I literally drove over there. Like before this, I was like, I'm going to be a little late. And I stopped by. And
Worth it. That's
So worth
so worth it.
He's so good. He's so good. He actually has something on YouTube that I saved.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Like, he talks literally about those verses. So
And it's all that stuff where it's like, that's not what it's saying, but because people don't know what they're talking about, but they keep talking about it, it makes everything worse and just,
I could literally take anything anyone says out of context. You just have
Oh,
to
easy.
look at the details. Like, man,
yeah.
yeah.
But thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah, this was the third interview of God, Gold, and Glory.